Adam Ereli joins us now, former U.S. ambassador to Bahrain. Ambassador, you're in Washington, D.C. Good to have you back on the program. Donald Trump says that his immediate focus is on trying to get a deal quickly. That's what he wrote in his social media post. He's even suggested that the outline of a deal has been set. But these are all things that we've heard from this president before, and it hasn't worked. So do you see any reason to believe negotiations could be more successful now?
No, not really. I mean, the objectives of the negotiations haven't changed, right? I mean, from the beginning, Trump's and the United States' overriding concern was to reopen the Straits of Hormuz, which everybody should remember before this war was an international waterway, right? Like the Moluccan Straits or any other international maritime passage. And then after the war, Iran unilaterally decided, you know what, we're going to prevent any ship from going through unless you give us what we want. So I guess the question is, what has changed, right? Is Trump going to give them what they want? Mm-hmm. I don't see Iran, unless Trump makes some significant concessions, I don't see them changing their position, which is, we control the straits. They're critical to our national security. Unless you can provide us guarantees that you're going to stop attacking us and stop blockading us and stop trying to bring down our regime, we're just going to hold you hostage. And they've got a pretty good strategy, if you ask me. I mean, they're holding everybody hostage. They're extorting as much as they can. And time, frankly, is on their side because they can suffer pain for a lot longer than the rest of the world.
So you're saying the U.S. has tried negotiations and it hasn't worked. You don't see them working much better now than they have in the past. The U.S. has also tried, of course, attacking and escalating attacks against Iran. That also hasn't worked. So given that, in your view, what should the U.S. do?
The United States, I think, should just, they're not going to, any military campaign has to have a political objective, right? I mean, soldiers don't blow up things for the fun of it. They blow up things in order to create an agreement or to create an outcome. What's the outcome you want? The original outcome was a non-nuclear Iran that didn't have missiles and didn't support proxies. Well, that has completely failed. So now I think that the only thing you can do, the only thing that'll work is if you go back to what Obama had before the nuclear deal, which was a very tough sanctions regime on Iran that prevented them from selling oil, prevented them from getting any money, completely cut them off from the international economy. Now, that's what led to the deal, the nuclear deal in 2015, which may or may not be a good deal. But the point is, it pressured Iran. It worked in terms of bringing Iran to the table and making them willing to make concessions. The problem with that strategy is, A, why is Trump going to do something that Obama did? And B, Trump has, the success of those sanctions policy was because the rest of the world worked with us. But meanwhile, Trump has alienated the rest of the world, and they see Iran more as the victim than the criminal, which is a grotesque reversal of roles that, frankly, is cause for serious concern.
So if you're saying what the U.S. should do is a course of action that it's unlikely Donald Trump would do a deal similar to Obama's. At least that's what he says publicly.
Right.
So if Donald Trump doesn't do that and you don't see any other outcomes, then what happens?
Well, I see Donald Trump doing what he always does, right, which is muddling through. In other words, trying a combination of bluster and cajoling and persuasion to get something that he can call a victory. I don't know what that looks like. I'm sure Trump will figure it out. I mean, look, 2 days ago he announced a great deal on Gaza, right? Disarmament of Hamas, transfer of control to a new technocratic governmental agency. And he said, the Middle East is going to be different from today on. Well, 2 days later, we see it's a bunch of hooey, right? I expect we're going to see the same thing on Iran. In other words, Trump saying that they've reached some kind of agreement, some kind of arrangement that will not withstand long-term scrutiny, but will be enough to get him through another news cycle. But let's remember, Trump lives from one news cycle to the next, whereas the rest of the world lives in a different reality, one that is more grounded in fact than the fantasy of a megalomaniac.
I want to ask you about public opinion in the U.S. 2/3 of Americans say that this war has not been worth fighting for. This is from a recent AP NORC poll. The number is 64%. 64% of U.S. adults saying not worth it. In your experience, how much does the political mood at home influence the president's wartime decisions?
Depends on where the president is in both his administration and the electoral cycle. Let's remember, President Trump is now a lame duck president. He can't win re-election, right? So, and he has said, I don't care about the midterms. Midterms don't matter to me. Maybe he's being honest. I think there's a certain degree of truth there because they don't matter to Trump. They matter to members of Congress who are up for re-election, but they don't matter to the president because he's going to be president no matter what. And oh, by the way, obviously things matter a lot to a president who's up for re-election in a couple of years, but Trump isn't up for re-election. So I don't think what's happening with Iran and American public opinion on Iran are that important to Trump and that much of a driver of his decision making.
Ambassador Adam Ereli joining us from Washington, D.C. Thank you very much. Good to have you on the program.
Thank you.